What is Spondee meter? Well, first let's start out by explaining what a meter is. A meter is a unit of rhythm in poetry. It's probably easier to think of it as a pattern of the beats. We call each unit of rhythm a foot. So a spondee meter would then be a metrical foot consisting of two accented syllables. So what are some examples of this? Some words would be heartbreak, childhood, even the word bathrobe, all because they have stressed syllables in them. The poem I did was diving into the wreck, so where do we see spondee meter in this? We see it in the line, we are, I am, you are. I am she, I am he, all because these have stressed syllables. What's the purpose of using spondee meter? Poets use this type of meter to emphasize certain words to provoke emotional feelings from the reader. Although the poem Diving into the Wreck is written in free verse, the author uses spondee meter to communicate to the reader how effective and profound her words really are. The author is Adrienne Rich, and some of you may be thinking, who is Adrienne Rich? Important things to know is that she was a famous 20th century female poet. She was also one of America's foremost public intellectuals, as well as a feminist leader. Growing up in a post American war society really shaped her beliefs. For example, she was associated with and supported the anti war movement. She was also a big advocate for social justice, which is seen in her poetry, and a lot of people associated her with radical feminism. Her poems discuss things such as identity, sexuality, and politics. In the poem Diving into the Wreck, Rich writes about a scuba diver, and it's important to note that Rich purposely does not give the diver a gender. So the diver embarks on this journey underwater and encounters a shipwreck. As he or she looks at the wreck, they start to recall a book of myths and states that the book doesn't compare to the wreck. Seeing something up close and personal is very different from just reading about it in some book. Later in the poem, the diver morphs into a sort of mermaid-merman creature, blurring its identity even more. Finally, the poem closes and the narrator addresses the reader directly, saying, we are, I am, you are. We all become the divers now. The poem ends discussing the Book of Myths and mentions how our names never even appear on it. This is major symbolism for the anger Rich felt towards society during her time. It symbolized the silencing of many people through the unfair telling of history and showed how their suffering remained invisible to others. So I took the Book of Myths and I synthesized this to gender norms in today's society. Although we have come a long way, many women still feel the pressure to be perfect in the eyes of their male counterpart. By letting the man dictate what he wants for you, you're making yourself and your needs appear invisible as they become dominated by him. If a man's dream for you is to get married, have babies, do all the cooking and cleaning, but you don't like that dream for yourself and hope to become something else, Adrienne Rich says this is perfectly okay. You should never let someone write your own story for you, just like the Book of Myths should have never been written about a shipwreck it knows nothing about.